Good morning. Welcome to this service of Unity Online here at Unity of Bernie. We have people already saying good morning. They heard me, think we're starting the service. We're very close. There's one thing I would like to ask the one who's monitoring this broadcast is if we are broadcasting sideways, please let me know and I'll put the camera back. Otherwise, this gives us a panorama. You get more of what's going on here at this wonderful church, what I call the house that loved God. Everybody's here this morning. We're ready to experience the truth of our being. We know that love is the very foundational lodestone of what we're about. We look forward to you joining us this next hour. Let it be full of peace, power, and plenty for you. May you be richly blessed as you come join the family.
In the midst of his children. Is that right? Does that sound?
Welcome to Unity of Bernie. For those leaning on the sustained definite, what is today?
Big with blessings.
Celebration.
Big with blessings, and so it is. We're going to stand. Thom, what are we going to sing?
Well, we're going to sing happiness is found
within. 120.
So let us get that happiness. Happiness is found within. Happiness I'm bound to win. I can change my thoughts from gloomy gloom to gladness. Happiness is found within. We search and seeking out a way to find our happiness. When we turn to power within, we turn from no to yes. So I can change my mind today, change my thoughts to good and say, joy is a part of me, it is my very nature. Happiness is found with, happiness is found with, happiness is found within. All right. Happiness is found within. Happiness I'm found to win. I can change my thoughts from no I can't to can't do. Happiness is found within. We search and seeking out a way to find our happiness. When we turn to power within, we turn from no to yes. Oh, I can change my mind today, change my thoughts and say, joy is a part of me, it is my very nature. Happiness is found with, happiness is found with, happiness is found with. Yeah! You nailed it, you nailed it.
As you're sitting down, find somebody close to you and say, you look fantastic.
There she is.
I do have a few announcements this morning. First of all, I want everyone to embarrass Jackie and have her stand up and tell us where she's from. I met her this morning, but here she is.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I am originally from Mission, Texas, and I live in San Antonio, but I am an aspiring actress, so I'm moving to New York, but I feel so much gratitude to be here. I'm like, man, I missed out and you all existed. But I just have a lot of joy and happiness for being here and a lot of gratitude, so thank you for having me.
So I do want to tell you everything about all our online offerings. I would refer you to your order service and our webpage and our Facebook page and all the login information. The schedules are all printed there. Everything is pretty much the same in that regard. Trying to wear name tags. Who's doing a good job? Christine is doing a good job. I see Chris, Jim Luke. Oh, come on, somebody
I
else.
finally remembered who I am.
All right. Anyway, we're trying. Another thing we're trying to remember, we're not doing so good yet, but we're trying to get back into it, is our food drive. The hardest thing is to get the food. If you can get the food in your car, you can get it here. So somehow get it in your car. So we're trying to do that again. I think Rick used to drop that off for us quite often. So we've got a few things in there, but we'd like to get like a basket full and make it worthwhile taking. So sometimes we try to remember on potluck, like if you're bringing something for potluck, throw a couple of cans in your car. Kind of an easy way to do that. Worship assistants, church openers, and daily word readers, we're not doing too badly. I think May is partly filled up, but we could have a couple of more probably, so think about doing that and sharing yourself with the congregation. It's a good way to get everybody to know you. All right, so if you take a look out there, there is some green posts sticking up there with some screen around it. And Jim Luke planted a tree. So take a look.
Thank you, Jim.
Very nice, very nice.
If you're here, don't wait, you just go down.
All right, awesome. I don't know, we're kind of lucky in some regard that it hasn't rained so much, because boy, would we be mowing, but of the two choices, I take the rain, right? What else? The only other thing, Christina would like to make an announcement.
Oh, okay. So good. Okay. Hi, everyone. Hi. So what I want to announce is that next Sunday, April 10th, will be the very first meeting of Codependence Anonymous held here at Unity of Bernie at 3 o'clock. So I want to tell you, Codependence Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women whose common purpose is to have healthy and loving relationships. In Codependence Anonymous, we gather together to support and share with each other in a journey of self-discovery, learning to love the self. The only requirement for membership in CODA is a desire for healthy and loving relationships. We rely upon the 12 steps and the 12 traditions for knowledge and wisdom, and we each learn to build a bridge to a higher power of our own understanding, and we allow others the same privilege. So our particular group here at Unity of Bernie will be called Every Human Being Anonymous, but for clarity's sake, that is simply a title. It is still a full and unaltered Codependence Anonymous meeting, but here our meeting is titled Every Human Being Anonymous. And there are pamphlets in the back of the room that talk about what happens at a Codependence Anonymous meeting, and it talks about what the 12 steps are and the 12 promises of Codependence Anonymous. I would encourage you to check out. And if you're watching online, hello, and have interest in the program or the meeting and want more information, please email me. My email is Christina, CHRISTINA3516 @gmail.com, and I'll respond to you. Thank you. And thank you, everyone. Sunday at 3 o'clock from now on. Okay? Thank you.
All right, any other announcements I'm not aware of? Somebody knows something I don't? All right, we're going to move on. Miss Linda's going to come read the daily word.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
As we quietly and gently prepare for the reading of the daily word, we remember that we are in spirit with millions of daily word readers in churches throughout the world. The Christ candle is lit as a reminder of the Spirit of God within all of us, which we call the Christ within. The word for today is inner peace. And the affirmation, I think peace, I feel peace, I am peace. Peace lives in my heart. At the place within me where all appearances of separation dissolve, I feel only peace, only God, only oneness. This peace is always mine, part of my divine inheritance. I carry it with me through every experience, every moment of the day. Nothing can destroy or even disturb my peace when I invite the divine presence, the Christ of my being, to be my constant guide. A passing thought of fear, worry, or anger is a reminder to breathe, to release negative energy, to embrace peace. I feel renewed when I meditate, enjoy a walk in a peaceful garden, or take a moment to appreciate natural beauty wherever I find it. My indwelling peace manifests all around me as beauty, harmony, and bliss. The scripture comes from Psalm 29:1. May the Lord give strength to his people. May the Lord bless his people with peace. Again, the affirmation, I think peace, I feel peace, I am peace. My name's Linda, and I thank you all for joining us in worship today.
Thank you, Linda.
We're going to stand for our constitutional information. We can affirm that together. In the infinite of God,
where I now stand, I affirm that my good comes to me, and I accept the blessings that are mine with an abundance of gratitude. Nothing in me hinders the flow of good. I am grounded, calm, poised, and strong, and so it is.
Just stay standing just for a moment. We're going to sing number 125.
Word wanders from within. That's where to look within. There's no use looking somewhere else but out
can do our opening prayer together. Unity of
Burning is a vibrant, loving, spiritual community, providing a sacred space for personal growth. We honor and celebrate the Christ within all people.
All right, please be seated. I know everybody's got a prayer card in their order of service. You can kind of fill that out and submit that anytime. The prayer box is coming forward at the moment. We'll wait for you if you'd like, or you can slip that in at any time. Anne's got one. Looks like.
Together?
Yes, sir.
Together we take the loving energy that is part of us, and I know it is because I'm here blessed by it every Sunday. And I know that it's inside each one of you. And inside this box are requests, joys, concerns, celebrations, upsets, runs the gamut of human experience. But we want to uphold people. We want to affirm the truth in their lives. This is what we do as a corporate group. And I don't mean that in a business way, corporate meaning the body, little body of truth that is here represented by each one of you. So I ask that you give your highest energy of loving vibration to what is expressed in you. Oh, loving presence, we know that there is no request that is too small, and that you are with us and all in the challenges of life. We affirm it, we know it, the truth of our being proclaims it, and said we are the light of the world, we are the salt of the earth. And we ask, believing in prayer we receive. We do that now, and we affirm that the answers, the comfort, the presence speeds its way to those who have cares represented in this box. We give thanks for answered prayer and thanks for the truth of our being. Guide these people, show them the love that is in them, so that they bless all with whom they come in contact and become part of a wonderful circle of love in this world. We give thanks that this is done as we believe, and so it is. Amen.
So today happens to be Celebration Sunday. So maybe you've had a birthday, an anniversary, a healing of some kind, a divine idea. What else? You planted a garden. You thought about planting a garden, didn't do it. The pressure is mounting.
Do you have enough flowers?
Oh, maybe.
Those flowers are amazing.
Well, Linda outdid herself. Good job, Linda. All right, is this an individual or is this a group here?
It's a group.
Group. Your
Thank
names.
you. Okay, I'm Judy.
Larry.
What are you celebrating?
Go ahead.
Well, two things actually. One is our anniversary this month, 37 years. And we have finally made the decision to make our dream come true. And we are moving to the beach in Florida.
Where were you married?
Austin. No, we were married in Tyler, but we were
Lived in
living in
Austin.
Austin.
Very nice. Your name?
I'm Maria.
Maria, what are you celebrating?
Actually, I'm celebrating the process of healing, and for myself, and also for my neighbor who underwent surgery, and she's on her road to recovery. So once she gets, she's already feeling so much better, and I am feeling so much better. I had this whole thing for a whole week, with dizziness. New term is vertical. I was able to use the term itself to to get some insight about some of the things that I could do to help myself with that particular condition. So I'm celebrating healing, the gift of healing.
Yes. Your name?
Denise.
Denise. What are you celebrating?
I'm celebrating that I'm here with you guys, that I have this loving community. It's particularly in these moments, especially to Jake.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you.
Your name?
My name is Ann King, and you triggered it when you said something about a garden.
Yeah.
I look and look and look to find people to help me with yard, and I had the most fantastic guy yesterday. He's 15 years old. He worked his heart out for 6 hours. He stands about this high. But anyway, it's just so nice, and I've tried high school kids before, and it wasn't always a good experience. But this guy just such a sweetheart. So.
Awesome.
And getting my garden started. Planting the tomatoes are going in today.
I think the freeze is over, right? All right, young man. What's your name?
My name's Rick.
What are you celebrating?
I'm celebrating just being here, standing up here in this great little church. It's just an honor to be able to celebrate Sunday with all you nice people. And the book review is always extremely interesting. And even at my young age, it's educational. Very. And we learn so much about each other just talking about things. So I just enjoy, it's like coming to two parties, the book review and then church.
And then out to eat.
And then out to eat, yeah, very interesting. And I'm just so grateful, thank you, to be able to do this.
Thank you,
Nick. When do you leave?
Oh, we'll be here next week, and then we'll say bye-bye
All right,
for a couple of
for a
months.
few months here. Your name, young lady?
Okay, my name is Esther.
Esther, what are you celebrating?
Okay, I'm celebrating also being here and part of this wonderful community, and it's such a great, interesting people that gather here, and I'm very, very grateful to have this.
Isn't this the
Be
weirdest
here.
group of people you've ever met?
You
do?
The weirder the better for me. Anyway, and also, I also celebrate this miracle of, well, we kind of talked about it last time, but how we all got together, and it was so much joy to be part of this, repainting, and it was like a miracle. Everybody just whizzled around, and all of a sudden it was done.
Yeah, we didn't fight.
And I mean, so that was a very great experience. I actually would love to, maybe time to time to have those things, and maybe even help each other out. Have little groups, sometimes for a few hours to get together, help somebody at their place, maybe, because more hands, it's more fun to do things together. And I think, hey, we can make it into a party too,
I'm gonna put you down to head that. Just be careful.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm very, very happy. And also I'm celebrating, we are going to Germany in less than 10 days. And it's going to be my mother's 92nd birthday on April 11th.
Nice.
So I'm celebrating my mother and her long, wonderful life.
Thank
Esther's mom is back on the board if you want to look when you go out. All right, look at you wearing your name tag. Your name?
My name is
What
Caro.
are you celebrating?
Well, the first thing, I couldn't resist these because you matched my dress
I know.
today. What kind of a sign from God is that? It's great. And then, as long as there's a beautiful garden up there, I have this friend who gave me a mountain laurel and persimmon tree and I planted both yesterday, and so that's pretty exciting, and my garden's looking better and better. And I've just been going to a lot of really interesting events with interesting people, and it's all been good, so.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, raise your hands to the people, wave your fingers, say we honor your celebrations.
We honor your celebrations.
And we're assured the best is yet to come.
We're sure the best is yet to come.
You got to take them with you.
Well, we just got finished with the daily word, and it's interesting. I brought this song, and as usual, things come together when I get here. And right there it is that the Christ of my being, to be my constant guide. And I remember we've all heard the messages of Christ and the teachings, and his particular focus on us maintaining our faith and what we believe in and how that carries us onward so many times. So this is called Faith is My Compass. And I was a little excited about it because it just came into my head last week and a half ago or something. I called up Jake. I said, "Oh my gosh, just these words magically are jumping into my head again." And so, with reverence and appreciation for those verses referenced. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should leave here before my time to wait, well, have no fear, I'll be always near. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow, there is nothing here to fear. For I have heard the message, and the bringer was oh so clear, that I should never fear, for he is ever here. Now my faith assures me of all I do live for, ever keeping to believe in that yet coming forth. So I let thy kingdom come, and I shall let thy will be done. Now here is me, I do surrender all my fears, right now, right here. As I know He is here, as a compass shows true north. Start that one over again. Now, as a compass shows true north, I know faith is mine to hold forth. And as the wind may move me on the sea, there still I am, with no fear in me. Now my faith assures me of all I do live for, ever keeping true belief in that which is coming forth. Because faith is my compass to keep my own true north. Faith is my compass in every way. Faith is my compass, though I may stray. Faith is my compass in every day. Faith is the substance guiding my way. Faith is my compass for all we hope for. Faith is the evidence we never have seen before. And faith is my compass in every way. Faith is my compass, I am so blessed.
A star is born. We created a monster.
Maybe. Excuse me, I'm adjusting the camera for our folks online. We're going to get technologically bigger. This is just the beginning. It's a new phone, they say, that broadcasts like a professional equipment. So we're taking baby steps upward. Anyway, welcome this morning. And I want to echo something that Christine said. Not specifically part of my message right now, but just before, I can't slip my mind because I've been thinking about it. When Christine and Todd came to me and said they'd love to have a 12-step group here, and I said, talk to the board, it's great with me, the board liked it, and all of a sudden we're doing another outreach. We are doing more outreach here than any other Unity church in our area. I think that's really something. From where we were a year ago. And I remember sitting in front of the waterfall near the house, the flies buzzing around and the wasp in my hair. And I always remember all that. I thought, Lord, how are we going to get through this? And here we are a year later back together. And it's so good to see a church full. So this 12-step group, I think, is going to touch many lives. I know and feel the energy of the hearts of the people who are setting it up. And it's good. And I heartily recommend it. And I'm so excited about it. Thank you, Christine. This morning, I want to talk to you about the idea of I thought so. And most of the time when we say I thought so, it's about something that is less than positive. I figured as much, it probably was going to do that, etc. We go on and we fill in our ain't it awful stories. I thought so. But I thought so, or I thought, are the building foundational blocks of your life. Your mind is a kingdom, and you get to choose what your subjects are. And you, backed by the truth of your being, when you align with that, you make what's called a third force that makes your life into something you may have heretofore just only dreamt about. But it has to do with intention, and it has to do with how we accept what we are inside and what we are able to give up. And this is a season of giving up. You might notice that there are 3 purple candles back here. I'm a little bit, I don't know, I love the liturgical colors, and I think it's good to remember this at this time, that we're giving up something, not something that is pleasurable. In New Thought, we talk about giving up and fasting from those thoughts and ideas and concepts that we hold that keep us from the life more abundant. And it's about that I want to talk to you today. And it's also, in a strange sort of way, ties in with this 12-step group. I think that you all know that, or I've told you before, that my mentor was Reverend Jack Bowen of Renaissance Church in Unity Church in Warren, Michigan. It was also called the Church of Today back in the 80s. I found him as just what I call a civilian. I went to a Unity Church. I had spoken some, and I heard one of his tapes, and I determined to get more. He touched me greatly, and as you know, I went up there, I spoke, and we became friends. But to speak to the power of giving up, fasting from, and a little bit of autobiographical history that I love to go through right here, I want to tell you that this man, my mentor, who was also the president of the Association of Unity Churches in 1980, spent time under an interstate drinking Sterno. He was agoraphobic, he was depressed, he was homeless, he was defeated. 4 years before he attained that lofty position. When I sat in Jack's office and I heard that, the tears came to my eyes because I was in the presence of one who was mightily touched, and what was happening to me was the voice was coming inside saying, "You're to go and touch people." And I said, "How?" "I don't know. Yes, I speak some here. Yes, I'm promoting this there, whatever." I was kind of in betwixt and between, but I sat in the presence of this man who had literally come up from nothing. And of course, I had to ask the question after a while, and this was before I told you some before, he pushed me onto the stage and told me, "You're going to speak, and you'll learn to fly or you'll crash, one or the other." I love him for that, right? Anyway, and he's long gone now. He died in 1992, but he was a giant of a fellow. And I said, "What was it that did it?" And he recounted a very interesting story. He said, "I was near Roanoke, Virginia, near the railroad. And he said, I was in a street that I'd grown up on. I just wanted to go back to see what it was like. And I heard on the radio Dr. Norman Vincent Peale say, 'Perfect love casts out fear.'" And he said, I'd heard that a million times. And he said, in my prior life, I'd been a church member that, moderately. And he said, those words I'd heard so many times before. He said, but something about it, I thought if I could lay hold of this perfect love in some way. And he stumbled into a 12-step group. And as he told me, he sat there with the folks, and right away, in a state of dishevelment, in a state of semi-drunkenness, in a state of, he wouldn't have wanted to be caught dead doing that later in his life. But right then, because he was extremely natty dresser, and lived our principles of prosperity, abundance, and all this. But at that time, he stood up and said, "My name is Jack, and I'm an alcoholic, and worse." And that meeting began the upward track for Jack. He literally started from out of anything that I can imagine ever going through, to rise to the position that he did. And I said, so really what was the key? And he said, one thought at a time, one day at a time, sometimes 1 minute at a time. And I became a great fan of 12-step groups. And although I didn't have any particular addiction, I sat in on them because I loved the spirituality. It was a way to go to church when I wasn't speaking. It was a way to, take some time for me, because usually on Sundays I was either doing something like this or speaking prior. Before I was a minister, I was a public speaker that promoted new thought ideas and books and so forth like that. And I would absorb this loving, wonderful energy. And so I know what 12-step groups mean. And I know what it means, what it meant to my mentor. And I know the life-changing power that they have. And Reverend Jack Boland, if you want to look him up, is quite a story. He's quite a minister. And to me, most everything that he ever said was golden. I absolutely loved it. And what he did also was talk to me about 2 special little booklets that are very easy for anyone here to get hold of. And I'm going to make sure that each one of you have this. If you can't get it, I will personally make sure they're in the back of the church. I couldn't do it as quickly as I wanted to this week because I have to place this order, but I will do this. The 2 booklets I'm talking about are The Golden Key and The Mental Equivalent. I'm going to say 3, and The 7-Day Mental Diet. The Golden Key, The Mental Equivalent, The 7-Day Mental Diet. Maybe 60 pages in all, written by a New Thought author called Emmett Fox, that I'm sure many of you are familiar with. And I'm going to speak this morning on fasting from the most important thing that we do is fasting from our own negative thinking. These 3 books, Golden Key, The Mental Equivalent, and 7-Day Mental Diet, you will have them. If you cannot find them online in PDF, I will make sure you ask me. That's this important. It's my commitment to you. The 7-Day Mental Diet is something that I undertook after meeting Jack, and what it is you are to fast from negative thinking for 7 days. The trick is, if you at any time during that 7 days find yourself entertaining a negative thought for more than a moment, you have to go over and start the whole process again. That diet made any diet that I ever undertook, including the one I'm on right now physically, mere child's play. It took me 1 year to get through that booklet. And I had Jack saying to me, isn't this something? Isn't this something? Over and over I said, it's so subtle, the negativities that creep into my conversation, into my thought life, into the way that I think and express. I don't want it. And Jack said, you'll never be the same after it. He's right. And I was ready, when I learned the power that I had to control my thinking, I was ready to go on to Dr. Fox's other good works. But I think those that I talked about, those are the 3 most important booklets that he ever wrote. And they are available, as I say, at PDF. They might even be in our library, but I'm going to make sure that we have stacks of them, enough in the back of the church very soon. So that's a good reason for you to come back. There'll be something free. So what is it today that you have to fast from to get your greater good to happen to you? I remember when I was young and I learned about Lent and giving things up, it was my grandmother, who was a pretty nominal churchgoer, but she was all about remembering the days. And there was Christmas and Easter, and she would mention certain things to me, and she'd say, what are you going to give up for Lent? And without missing a beat at 9 years old, I said, broccoli. And it just came to me, and she said, no, honey. She said, it has to be something that you like. And she knew what I like. I said, well, okay, peas. And she said, no. She said, something that I give you money to go buy at the store. And I realized it was candy or pop or something like that. So anyway, I had to give up Baby Ruth bars for a while, and I began thinking about this. During the time, I thought the whole thing is just kind of difficult, and why? Does God want me not to eat a candy bar? But it was later on, and coming to meet Jack and having this situation come to a feeling inside me that understood that behind all these outward things, candy bars, food, whatever, there is an inner thought life from which all these things proceed. I have to think I want the candy bar. I have to hear a thought inside me that says to go and do something. So I began to realize that thought is the father or the mother of everything. Everything that we are and do proceeds from a thought. And James Allen said, as a man thinketh in his heart, and as a woman too, so is he. The Bible in Proverbs says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So thinking is pretty important. And so it doesn't matter whether you give up candy or broccoli or anything on this outer world. What matters is what you can give up inside you, inside right here. Can you give up the judgment against yourself and others? Can you give up the need to be right? Can you give up those things, those patterns inside you that you keep, as I call, bumping into life with? Life, as Jack told me, is going to bang on your hood until it gets your attention, and it's usually going to do it through the negativities that we nourish unwittingly. We'll find that these things become our greatest teachers, our addictions, our negativities, our upsets, our griefs. They become the fodder for a new life if we allow it. Jack could have said, sitting under that expressway, I'm ruined, I'm done for, I might as well curl up and die. But something walked him in to that 12-step route, and it began a stellar story that I've never heard the equal of. And so I want to say, if Jack can do that, then certainly I can do the things that I need to do, and certainly you can. It's a matter of willingness. It's a matter of what you're willing to give up. Remember the old saying as kids, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. The only words that are going to hurt you are not those that come from without. It's those that you entertain that come from within outward. Everything has its antecedent in your life as a thought on the outside. You are perceiving every moment. And through your perceptions, you make your world because you respond in kind. And what comes to you that gives you the greatest emotional charge is probably the thing you need to learn the most from. Have you ever felt that feeling when somebody says something, the back of your hair on the back of your neck stands up, or on your elbows, or you're watching something particularly beautiful in a movie and you feel what I call this tingling in the back of your head? That is something resonant and consonant in you. That's something to pay attention to. That's something that is part of your soul, something that is part of your essence. Pay attention to those moments that take your breath away in life. You know, it's said, it's not trite to say it, I believe that life isn't measured by the breaths we take, but the number of events that take our breath away. And life has a lot of those. We just have to be willing to look for them. We have to be willing to get through this negative miasma that we sometimes allow the world to set up, especially right now, especially in view of current events, especially in view of just the situation we find ourselves in this world. This is a world that loves duality. This is a world where people love to be right and make other people wrong. It's a heady drug. It's a great feeling. If I could look at you, and I never wanted to do this as a minister, but I understood it in pastoral psychology. If I could look at you and say, you're wrong, I'm going to feel something right away. Generally something, I feel right. I told him. But I never liked to do that. I wanted to say to someone who came to me or sat in front of me, and I am a counseling pastor, not that I'm right and you're wrong. I want to hear what moves you deeply, why you're in front of me, and I can tell you my situation, and we can share an experience, strength, and hope. That's the sum and substance of counseling to me, is drawing forth, as the Latins call educare, drawing forth from within you your highest truth, and then meeting you in that field, as Rumi talks about, beyond right and wrong, where we come together and entertain ideas. Now that's counseling. If I am being didactic, if I am being pointed and saying you must, you shouldn't, I think you pretty much know that already, or anybody would know that. They're there because something isn't working. I'm there to stand in agreement with their highest good. And if they don't necessarily see it at that moment, to call it forth. Somebody said to me once, you're either lying or you're calling it by faith. And I want to call the very best in people in faith. I don't want to play on your fears. I don't want you to feel that you're in the hands of an angry God or that you should be guilt-ridden for something you did. Jack Boland didn't need to hear that when he sat in the car in Roanoke, Virginia. He heard perfect love casts out fear. It was love that changed Jack. It was love that changed me. I've never done well under threat. I think we can do something under threat, but we're going to resent it. And it's not going to work, and eventually it's going to fold like a house of cards because it is based on the weakness of attack. It's based in the idea that you're not enough without hearing this from the outside, this you're not enoughness. It's not that you're not enough, you're more than enough, you're more than qualified. St. Paul taught us that in the New Testament. He talked about running the race with perseverance and keeping the faith, and life becoming new each day, and saying, I can do all things through the Christ Spirit who strengthens me. His was a journey. It wasn't always easy. He didn't always have a great circumstance, but he said, in whatever circumstance I find myself, I am content. I make my own world. I'm here to remind us of that today when we give up the things that we know aren't the best for us. What do you have this morning that you would like to give up in place of receiving something far grander than you ever thought about? I know by looking at you, and I'm so glad to see our church filled this morning, I know that there is almost every human situation expressed here. There are situations that run the gamut from grief and loss to relationship difficulties to family issues to work issues, all this. But I'm telling you, you're going to meet every one of these better if you can give up your ideas that you're less than, that you are the opinion of someone who said something to you that you held on to and it is not the truth. Anything that you can let go that lets you stand in the integrity and the truth of your being right now and right here is come for you. The things that you can release are the not enoughness. I'm guilty. I didn't do this new thought thing right. It took me so long. It took me so long. I am too old. I'm too young. I'm in this. I'm in that. You see what the ego does? All these thoughts inundate you when you want to make a step forward. It's called entropy, inertia. Also fear of change. Gosh, we fear change. Even though we want something different, we say that, we get used to the rote of what we're doing. And it goes around and around, and it takes something, decision on our part to break that cycle. So whether it's walking into a 12-step group today, or whether it's just interrupting the circumlocution of your negative thinking, I'm here to remind you that a new life is just a thought away. And through the 7-day mental diet, which is my particular way that I love so much, you can begin to do that. And if you can do that for a day, and I couldn't to begin with, I had 15 minutes. That was really, that bothered me because it showed me how much I was holding on to that I didn't know. On the outward, I was saying, look, I'm speaking in Unity churches, I got this right. No. I had to really listen about those things that were put there, that I allowed to be put there, and that I nourished without knowing. Then, when I became aware of that, I felt my life take off in another direction. This morning, I invite you to do that. Whether it's 15 minutes, whether you go an hour, whether you go a week, and you have to start over, I guarantee you're going to have to. And I'm going to tell you something else about this mental diet. You're going to do this if you choose to. And you're going to find that the minute you start to do this, all hell is going to break loose. There's something about the inertia that I call the tester that comes forward inside you to say, do you really mean that you are going to do this? You're going to give up your negative thinking. All right, I'm going to give you all the ammunition and all the things you need to test this resolve. And you go through that, and then the tester finds out, yeah, I'm for real, and I intend to make a new life. So it's not just one and done, it's a process. But at the end of this 7 days, I affirm and believe that you will have found how great your potential is. I believe you'll know what you can do because of the time you've had behind you of success. All you have to do is just start over when they come, and they will, but you'll find that negative thoughts will come farther and farther apart when you're mindful. And pretty soon you'll have a day, you have a week, and then you'll know your own power. And then I won't have to tell you this, you'll have the experience of it and how wonderful that is. I love talking about this. I love it because it mirrors the truth. It's the antecedent to change in my own life. But what I really love is seeing it when it works in people, the way that they blossom, spring up in a new life. And it's all right here. I thought so. I thought so from the beginning of getting into this public speaking and ending in becoming a minister. I started so long ago, and Jack, as I told you, that was really the beginning for me. And through all the years that have come and gone, I've seen people do remarkable things. People who thought they didn't have a prayer. And that's all they did have, and it was enough. That's what we have this morning. You have the right, you have the ability, the spiritual truth in you is there, the truth of your being. So that when you say, I thought so, you can say, I thought a new life into being instead of, I thought so, I couldn't do it. See, one sentence can be two different meanings. Words are tricky things. Course in Miracles says they are symbols twice removed. We do this, we say words because it's convenient. They're contrivances. What's important is the emotion. What's important is what you back with feeling when you say it. So when you say today, I want a new life, and I'm willing, even if you don't want to do the mental diet, 7-day mental diet per se, do something that shows you that you are the master of your thoughts, that you have the discipline to hold on to the affirmative truth of your being. Because it doesn't matter the label, it doesn't matter the religion, it doesn't matter the group. What matters is that you take advantage of it, and that you do it, and that you see the change in your own life. Building stronger people. That's what we're about here. And I want to speak to those of you who are tuning in. I love you. You're Pathlighters, and you're a varied group of folks, and you ought to see all these wonderful people here, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. If you're able, we'd love to have you join us. We also know, and you can tell, that this type of ministry demands that we have funding. Demand's a tough word, isn't it? But I don't mind saying that as a pastor because it is the sum and substance of what we're doing here. We're about changing lives. Those of you that are tuning in right now, and you've written to me, you've told me how much it means to you. Some of us, we've counseled together. We need your help. We need your financial contributions. I've heard you say, I love to watch you, Reverend Jay, sitting in my pajamas drinking coffee. And I love to have you do it. Just press that PayPal button or write that check or remember us in some way, because ministry does cost. And we're doing so many wonderful things. Look at the outreach I do. See, I'm getting ahead of myself. I get excited about this. Look at the outreach we've got. And we're doing it because of people like you, because of the gifts that you give. I want to invite you to give today to Unity of Bernie. If you prefer to do this by check, that's fine. Unity of Bernie, P.O. Box 1973, Bernie, Texas 78006. That's Unity of Bernie, P.O. Box 1973, Bernie, Texas 78006. And as you donate, and even if you don't, you will receive, when you write in to our email, unityofbernie@yahoo.com, you will receive these 3 booklets that I'm talking about. The 7-Day Mental Diet, the Golden Key, wait a minute. 7-Day Mental Diet, the Golden Key, and the Mental Equivalent. These are on the way. If you can't find them online, we'll have them in the back of the church. This is a commitment that I'm making to you. This is my seed I'm planting for a harvest for our church and for you. And in return, I would love for you to be part of this community in giving, because we know that what we give comes back to us, as Scripture says, pressed down, shaken, and running over. So please remember us in your gifts, and all of you remember us in your gifts as well. This is Celebration Sunday, and as I gave this message, something happened that's very rare for me. The time is such as 5 minutes to 12, and we have a meditation to do. I'm going to do a prayerful meditation. I don't believe in ministers that keep people past 12. I apologize for this happening. We got a little bit ahead of ourselves today, but this is what happens in family. We have a wonderful time here, and we're not so wed to the program that we can't make a little bit of change here. So I invite you to join me in prayerful meditation. Go forth today and release those negative thoughts. Give them all up for Lent. Then you won't have to worry about broccoli or kale or anything else. You'll already be straight down on the inside. I affirm it. I believe it. And bless you. Let us, right now in this moment, close our eyes and be aware of where we are. Our feet on the ground, our hands in our laps. We're receiving this today. We receive the message that our life is what our thoughts make it. And we feel at this moment open to this and ready and receptive to walk into a new life. We're aware of who we are. If we weren't, we were reminded today. We're blessed to be a blessing, and as we relax into the truth of our being, we feel the warm glow of truth that upholds us. And we know that there's nothing in us resistant to giving up anything negative. We allow the Spirit to work in us right now to give us messages that we need to hear. Whatever healing we need, mental, emotional, physical, we accept it right now. We take generously of it. What's there? What's always there for us? We clear away any blocks to love's presence right now. We remember. We accept new life. We're grateful that it's inside us for our choosing. We know we are made from love. We remember that right now and give thanks. As we get ready to face our week, as we begin to embrace the opportunities for change, we know that truly the journey of many miles begins with a single step, and the step we take today is realizing we are the authors of our life through the thoughts we think. And we make a decision that the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of truth, prana, breath, presence, whatever we call it, is in us, active in us, and through us right now. And so it is. Amen.
In the midst of his children, the Lord said he would be. Doesn't take very many, it can be just 2 or 3. And I feel that same sweet spirit that I felt oft times before. Surely I can say I've been with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear the hush of angels when I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear the rush of angels when I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Now we come to the part of service where it is our privilege, it is our responsibility to be prosperous, to give, and we know we receive as we give, and we give with an attitude of joyous expectancy. But right now I ask for Usher to come forward. Thank you, Rick, and that you give the greatest gift you can, and remember we're Unity of Bernie, P.O. Box 1973, Bernie, Texas 78006, and you will receive your 3 pamphlets for your gifts. Please include your name, address, city, and so forth. We'll send it to you. Together we say, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I send it forth with my blessings and my love. So it is.
Freely, freely I have received. Freely, freely I give. Divine love through me blesses all that I am, all that I give and receive.
Thank you for being here. We're a little bit late. Let's make a big, big circle. We're going to sing our peace song. More like amoeba.
Right? Yeah.
All right, no, that's good. That works.
Phil?
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be
The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
I want to say something very quickly. We got a big group going to Hungry Horse. We have a big table in the back. Do not get confused and go to Dog and Pony, which always happens with somebody. And because they're busy, you've got to stand in line to do your order before you sit down. The earlier you get there, the quicker you'll get in and get a seat. So, but we do have
By the courthouse.
by the courthouse. Yes, it's a block off Bay and a block off Blanco. Anyway, see you all there. If anybody wants to go in there and totally let me know. That's all.
Thank you.
You always do a good job. Doing fine. Back. Yeah. Much better. Anyways, it's good. Yeah, you never let them go straight. And I have no problem there. Just a little bit here. Not if I'm standing, I'm laying down, sitting, just when I walk. Yeah, I don't want to be too different. But that's the way. How did you like that meeting? This morning?
Good. You got lots of discussion. Good job, Thom.
Where does this go, Thom? I hit the escape.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
Too bad. Hi, this is Thom Allen, and I just want to thank everyone for joining us today here at Unity of Bernie. And it's been a wonderful Sunday experience for all of us here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your wishes. Thank you for your support. And thank you so very much for what's in your heart. Remember to keep faith as your guide and your compass, and those can be found and reaffirmed in the very words of our Lord Jesus, the Christed One. Thanks again for joining us. We hope to see you again next week, and have a blessed week. Blessed week for everyone. Thank you so much. Have a good day.